Today we are making homemade jambalaya. Starting off, I just take my partially frozen kaneka and I'm just cutting it up into little pieces. You don't have to cut them this small. I just like to do that so that you have a bite of kaneka in every bite. And once I get this done, we're just going to saute the kaneka until it's thawed out and has a nice little sear on it. I like to do the kaneka when it's a little frozen because then it doesn't squish and move around on you. But it does make it harder to actually cut when it's frozen. Now that that's done, throw it all in here. And just like I said, we're just going to saute it up till they're thawed out and got a little bit of a sear on them. And now we can wipe down our counter. Alright, so I'm going to add an onion. I've peeled it and I've got half of it here. So I'm just going to dice it up. Just a little small Vidalia onion. Let that cook in there. Our meat is getting nice and sauteed, getting a nice little color on it. I'm going to let that do for just another second. Alright, let me wipe my counter off and get that onion juice off of there so it's not constantly stinging my eyes. Now, we're going to add some Rotel, just one little can of Rotel. Next is petite diced tomatoes with garlic and olive oil. Alrighty, we're going to mix that in. Alright, next comes some seasonings. We're going to do some black pepper. Careful it doesn't make you sneeze. Oh, I need to get my other one out. Alright, so I've got my new pepper out. So we're just going to add a little more. Next is going to be Himalayan pink salt. You don't want it too salty. Then we're going to do some garlic powder. We'll use a good bit of garlic powder. You'll note I don't do measurements, I just do what looks good. Then we're going to do a touch of garlic salt. Once again, not too much because you don't want it too salty. Then we're going to do a little onion powder. You don't need a lot of this because it's pretty strong. Then we're going to do the parsley. Now these, you can sit there and do this, and you have those little bit of flakes coming out. But you can twist this while you're upside down, like it's a shaker, like it's one of those grinders, and more comes out at a time. Then you're not sitting there shaking a lot. Alright, good bit of parsley. Makes it good and yummy. Then, do some Creole. And give it that little Cajun kick. Then we're going to mix all this in. And then let it simmer for a few minutes. Get those onions in there. Nice head start. Alrighty, let this simmer for a few more minutes. Alright, so the next step is for the rice. I've got 3 bags of boiled bag rice. Now, as my husband's great aunt, who's from Korea, always says, always a washi your rice. That's what we're going to do. We're going to wash our rice. And that's all you just want to do like this. Just run it through that water a few times. Just going to move those grains of rice around to get anything that might be off. And set it aside. We do each bag that way. I love saying it the way she said it. Always a washi ye rice. It's always fun to say. It's a nice little thing, always helps you remember. Alrighty. Now I'm going to be adding in some different kind of rice. If you don't want that other kind of rice, I usually do 5 or 6 bags of boiled bag rice. Alright. So now we're going to add some chicken broth to the thing. This I have about a half a box carton of chicken broth that I had left over in the fridge. I'm going to go ahead and stick that in there. And then I'm going to go ahead and open up another one, but I'm only going to use about half. I normally just use one whole, because the rice is going to soak up a lot. And then you can leave what's left off to the side. Now, we are going to add the rice. Now just open it up and dump it in. And my youngest son is videoing, so if you feel like you're jumping from one thing to another really quick, it's just him. Alright, so then we're going to stir this in first. Oh, yeah. There we go. Get all that rice kind of broken up, all mixed into the liquid. Then we are going to do about 3 packs of this Knorr rice sides mushroom rice. Love this stuff. It's great. Alright, so we're going to dump this one in. Then we're going to go ahead and stir it in. So I like to keep an eye on this rice, because sometimes as it settles to the bottom before it gets to cooking good, it will settle and stick. So I like to stir. Once I get some rice in here, I like to stir it real good. Alrighty. And as you're doing this, you can kind of look and see, and whatever ratio of meat to rice that you like is when you stop adding rice. We're going to do some more rice. Second bag of mushroom rice. And always kind of like the bottom, make sure there's no seasoning stuck in there. Alright, so now we're doing this. Now, as you can see, it's starting to get a little thick. Some of that rice is already starting to soak up some of that liquid. So I'm going to add some more liquid. And then stir that about. That's much better. Alright. We've been cooking this on about the meat and tomatoes on about medium heat. But I started bumping this up as we start adding the rice so that the liquid will start, it gets to a boil a little quicker. And our third bag of mushroom rice. Alrighty. Now we're mixing all this in here. See, that looks the better meat to rice to tomato ratio. Alright, so all we're going to do from here on out is I'm going to stir it occasionally. I like to stir it like every couple minutes, like I said, just to make sure that rice is not going to stick to the bottom. Because there's nothing worse than rice sticking to the bottom and burning, and then your entire dish tastes like burnt rice. It's nasty. Once this starts bubbling, then I will set the timer for 10 minutes, because the bowl of bag rice needs 10 minutes. The mushroom rice only needs 7, but we're going to do it the longer for the bowl bag rice. So now we're going to sit here and we're going to wait on it to start bubbling. Okay, so this just started to simmer. I've got my timer set for 10 minutes. We can cut it down to about medium high, however yours wants. You don't need it that hot. You don't need it super hot. That will stick and burn very quickly, very easily. The next thing to watch out for is your liquid. When you first start, the rice is soaking up lots of liquid, so you need to keep adding. Now, after you reach 4 minutes, you can kind of slack off on how much liquid you put in it. But to begin with, you need liquid. A good bit of liquid. And you just let it keep simmering. So I added that room temperature liquid in here. So as soon as it heats up, starts bubbling again, I'll cut it down to about medium low. And then we're just going to let this bad boy simmer while we stir for 9 more minutes.
It actually does pause it. Look, it does pause.
No, it didn't. Alright, so as you can see, we got 7 minutes left, and it's already so thick. It's already soaked up all that chicken broth I put in. So next, I'm going to put in roughly 2 cups of water. Just liquid. That's all you need right now. It's just liquid. You can put more chicken broth if you want to, but the flavor of the chicken broth flavor is already in it. Just look at it just soaking all that up. That's the main key here, is make sure that the rice doesn't stick to the bottom and it has the liquid that it needs. Okay, so I've added one more thing of 2 cups of water. I've got about 2 minutes left. It is a little liquidy. Those should soak it up for the next 2 minutes, and then afterwards you're going to want to let it sit for a minute or two to cool off before you start trying to eat it. Otherwise you're going to burn your mouth. So I've done 1.5 cartons of chicken broth and 4 cups of water is all the liquid I've put in here. Okay, so the timer just went off, so this has been cooking for 10 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and cut it off. The next step is to taste it to make sure it tastes good and that the rice is done. Tastes good. The rice is a little bit firm, but I think it'll do good as it sits here in this hot liquid, and it'll just finish soaking all this up. Because there are pockets you can see that are less liquidy than the others. So I'm going to stir it. I've got the eye off, so we're going to let it sit for a couple minutes while we go and fix drinks and get ready to eat. Okay, so we've tasted it, and I think it needs just a touch more Cajun or Creole. That should be plenty. Now we're going to mix that in. Stir it around. It's already getting thicker as it cools. When you go spooning it out, that's your meat to rice to tomato ratio right there. All that yummy goodness. Alrighty, and then I would say that it is done and ready to eat.